Hey guys, this is Helena from Glass Factory. I'm here with Aurelia. How are you?
Hello, hello. I'm good. How are you?
Good. Yeah, first off, I really like your look.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, could you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. Obviously, name's Aurelia. The name itself means gold in Latin. And a lot of my project is about kind of finding light in darker places and acknowledging things inside yourself and pursuing something happier. I am known to the people that listen to my music as the Gothfather because I'm goth. I'm a little goth. I'm also very quirky, but I'm also very Italian and Lebanese. So that's a little bit about me. I produce my music. I write my music. I direct and edit the videos myself that I've done. Outside of that, I'm often affiliated with an artist called Marthica, who I went on tour with most recently, and I'm a photographer for her a lot. Um, I love all kinds of music, but I make electronic music, and I started producing in 2019.
That's awesome. Could you tell me a little bit
Thank you.
more about your origin story?
Sure. So like I said, started producing in like late 2019. Yeah, essentially, I had been hospitalized. It's something I'm very transparent about. But I actually was hospitalized for about a month in a mental institution, because I was suicidal. And they were like, listen, Bestie, you got to get in there. And I was like, oh no. But, it ended up being a good thing because I got out and I was like, okay, so world almost ended. What do I really want to do with my life? And
Mhm.
I had done music a little bit in the past. I was in so many choirs in school. Like I was in an all-female folk music a cappella group, and I was in a
Mhm.
chamber group, and I did opera because it was cultural for me. And I did all these things, but I never was allowed to pursue it professionally or very vehemently after high school because it's not like being an artist is so expensive, to be honest. You have to have a lot of gear, you have to have a lot of time, you have to have a lot to invest into those releases. And so fast forward to 2019, now I'm in college. I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. So I did it, and I started to make music. I started, picking up on all the things that inspired me throughout my life. And I released my first single actually last year, in 2021. It did very well. I got to meet some really cool people through it. I have some people who I think they have said my music has really helped them. And I have some sort of visceral proof of that, as someone has already crocheted me a duck, which I have on my wall. So yeah, I guess that's a little bit about the project. I'm a philosophy sort of major. I went to NYU for that. And basically a lot of my project kind of delves into those themes more than anything else. There we
That's
go.
awesome. Well, yeah, thanks for
Yeah.
giving us the whole thing, especially with the transparency and like really powerful message, by the way. So I think a lot of people are gonna be able to relate to your music due to that transparency.
Hopefully. I mean, that was kind of the hope. I think at some point you stop making music for you. I still make it for me, but you also start making it for the people that respond in a way. Obviously, I'm no Mariah Carey or anything like making music to millions of people. But like the few and my friends that it resonated with them. I don't know. I've been thinking a lot more recently about making music for other people.
Hmm. Yeah, that'd be interesting. So like I guess in like thinking about your upcoming singles, Sinister Things,
Mhm.
could you just we're gonna actually rope it over to like what the message is and how you aim to use that in your future music as well.
I haven't really shared where I wrote the song, but my partner, his name is Icarus Moth, and I owe a lot of learning about music to him.
Hmm.
We trade a lot. Like I teach him marketing and stuff. He teaches me music production. He has a little mining shack in the middle of nowhere. Like literally, there's no signal, there's no plumbing. And we go once a summer to like get away and to process existing in a very tumultuous time, right?
Right.
Um, and so Sinister Things is actually about taking power back, and taking a sexual identity that has been kind of forced upon you and owning that.
Hmm.
Um, I didn't realize how much that had affected me until I was up in the middle of nowhere with no self-service, no TikTok to distract my brain from thinking. And that song I wrote while smelling like an actual raccoon, in the middle of nowhere. I smelled so bad. And I wrote that song because it kind of finally occurred to me. The past couple of years have really allowed me to heal, which is also why I think I'm writing music about, overcoming assault, overcoming abuse,
Mm,
claiming your sexual identity. Because I didn't really realize what I had been through when I was 14, which I talk about a lot, on my profiles. But I was assaulted when I was 14.
mm,
I was groomed by my first ever relationship. I didn't even know it was grooming actually until last year. Uh, Actually, when there's another artist, like I said, called Malthika, who I look up to, who I've worked with. She put an article about talking about her experience, and we have very similar trauma, which makes us
mm,
tight. But no, so she actually talked about her experience on a big blog post that she published and how she realized it was grooming. And I was like, oh, is that what happened to me? I guess
wow.
it is because it's the same thing. So I wrote this song, smelling like a raccoon, after all these feelings kind of spilled out of me. And basically, it's about owning the stereotype I was given.
Mm,
When I was assaulted, that person told the whole school that I went to that I was very easy, that we had had sex, obviously. We did not do that consensually, but, nobody knew that.
right.
So lots of men would come up to me and they try to be like my friend. And I thought, oh my God, I'm making so many friends. It's amazing. I'm 14, right? Like I've
Wow.
said this in a video, I look like a rat wearing a wig at this point in my life. Um, and then it kind of dawned on me when one of them would like shut the door when they drove me home because they offered me a ride home, and then like did not open the door until I had kissed them. So I
Wow.
became, and then when I started to grow into having real sexual feelings that were my own, later on in life, I classified them as sinister. I
Mm,
classified them as repenting. I classified them as me growing in a very negative way. And so this song, long story short, I'm definitely talking too much, is about kind of taking back that power. I'm allowed to have these sinister thoughts. I'm allowed to be angry about being abused, and I'm also allowed to be a sexual being.
great.
So it's kind of a double message in that way. A very personal story, but I ended up dumbing down the lyrics a lot so that it could be more like your boss anthem, your villain era, because villain era seem to be in right now. Good for them. Good for them.
Yeah, for sure. Well, first off, that's a lot to unpack, but also this is your
I'm
time to
so sorry.
shine. No, it's this is your time to shine. So like seriously talk as much as you feel necessary. I've been really appreciating, like I said, the transparency. Especially with this powerful of a track, like it's your I don't know, it's not necessarily like coming of age, but it kind of is with its coming out of your shell nature to it, and vocally very powerful alone, just how it just escalates. And
Thank
yeah,
you.
you have a really great voice. So I don't know, I just really feel like, yeah, it was great.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
The vocals took a while, so yeah.
Yeah, it was really beautifully done, and I think it captures your story really really great. Like I don't know, I feel like I'm not summing it up well because it just like it kind of
Oh,
does leave me a little bit speechless, honestly, because I was just listening to it before this meeting and I was just thinking, wow, the vocals are just so cool, especially with how it's produced and the heavy beat that just like contrasts with it, harmonizes with it. It's just really well done.
thank you. I
Yeah,
appreciate that a lot,
yeah, of
actually.
course. Yeah. So, who would you say inspired you as a musician growing up
Well,
and maybe like now?
growing up, oh yeah. So
Okay,
many.
yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, my stepdad is very Lebanese and I come from a very Italian family. I was
Mm,
trained in opera a little bit
right.
as like a kid because it was just like, it was cultural. Then, we didn't have the money for it for a while. Um so that really, those two backgrounds really have stuck with me, um more and more over time, actually, as I've reflected on my childhood and kind of realized like, oh, that's what that was. oh, I had no idea who this man was, but now I do. Um, so that I would say, and then when I was in high school, I discovered SoundCloud. I feel like
Mhm.
there's a lot of
Yeah.
electronic music producers that are going to give you this answer, right? 2016 okay, 2016 music in general, like that was when like Lemonade came out, all these beautiful, amazing tracks on SoundCloud. Like I had never loved electronic music more than 2016, or music more.
Mm.
2015, Beyonce's self-titled album also.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those things. And then my regular dad, who I'm very lucky, I get to know as well. He is also Italian, but we would do this thing where we would go to the library. We wouldn't go to like a genre. We would just pick an album based on the cover art and we'd listen to the whole thing. And some of it was bad, to be honest, but I discovered a lot of things that I really loved. Destiny's Child changed my life. We would listen
Wow.
to The Writings on the Wall, loved that. Um, and then yeah, I guess it's a mix of all those things that eventually made me throw up what I ended up making into Sinister Things. More recently, I've been really inspired by a few artists. Obviously, Martha is a huge inspiration of mine, stylistically, in her storytelling. I love her. She's a friend of mine also. Just, I love her. Um, and then I would say James Blake and a lot of his experimental
Mm.
production. Um, Oh man, Mr. Carmack, but like old Mr. Carmack. Mr. Carmack is just an incredible producer that like defined the trap scene for a while. Um, I could really keep going, so I'm gonna stop going. We're gonna slow the train down. But there you go. That's a nice.
Yeah, that's
It's
a
a
good sum up of like different genres. I could definitely sense the influence in all of them in your single in particular. So yeah, very like that was really informative. So thanks for sharing that.
hey,
Yeah. So
yeah.
what advice would you give to your younger self?
Oh, stop it. Just generally stop it. No, I did so many things as a young person because I was afraid of being rejected by my
Hmm.
peers and I was definitely afraid of being alone. I think when I was 14 especially, that's why that happened is because I was just an easy I don't want to say nobody should be like an easy target, but like again, I looked like a rat with a wig. I was trying to fit in. I really just wanted friends. So if I had been a bit bolder in who I was and what I wanted and actually gone and gotten it rather than wasting my time trying to feel acceptance from other people, I think I would have probably be where I am now a lot sooner in my life. So that's the advice I'd give. Stop it and go do you.
Mm, yeah. Wow, that's cool. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
so how do you aim to use elements from Sinister Things to charge music that you're going to be releasing in the future?
Oh, that's an excellent question.
Thank you.
So this release is yeah, no, these are great questions. So this release, I think honestly, it took a long time to produce, and I think I learned a lot about my
Mm,
voice, about what I wanted from it. I do think that what I loved about this release the most is the, like I said, like the people that it resonated with. That's never really happened to me before. But I have actually a friend of mine literally getting Sinister on their they're not a friend, they're a person I met on the internet, but we're friends. We're friends.
yeah.
I don't want to say like my fans, because like what I have like two fans of my mom. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, so one of them is they're gonna get Sinister on their wrists, and like the fact that that story resonated with them, like oh my goodness. So I want to make more music that speaks to people, that makes people feel connected. Um, and I think I'm going to take that into the future with this song. I do think that I will make more boss anthems, but I definitely want to, and this is a critique of mine, stop making such slow music. I want
Mm,
people to dance and feel free when I do shows, and I really want to do a lot of shows in New York very soon. So the songs that I've just written take that very empowering message and give it more tempo. Um,
mm. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
there we
looking forward to
go.
hearing that. That sounds really interesting. I think that would go with your voice really well.
Oh, thank you. We'll
Yeah,
see. We'll
I'm
see. I'm
looking
still
forward to it.
working and yeah, sound design is just twisting knobs and crying, throwing at your laptop, getting it from the garbage and then figuring it out. My laptop's still in the trash obviously right now, so we'll get there.
Yeah, no, creative process. So it's a love-hate relationship.
Hmm.
Yeah. So what are you up to next? What do you have planned next for your project, or in general? You can answer that however you feel.
Yeah. Oh man, up to next. So I'm definitely gonna be performing a show. I'm hoping for December, end of this year, in New York. Obviously I'm here, right?
Hmm.
So I might as well. I am putting out another song either again in December or January, as a follow-up. It's going to be one of the songs. I have three right now that I'm trying to choose between. All of them are much more uplifting, but still it's very, I don't need anybody else. I'm gonna do this on my own. So those things are my two big priorities right now, is just putting out as much music as I can and then maybe doing a show. And then I have some music that I produced and written for other artists that is coming out maybe this year. Their labels have to get back to me, but I'm very excited for people to hear some of the stuff that I've written for other people as well, because it's another part of what I do and I love it. I really do. I love the
Yeah.
music and I love other people's voices and yeah.
Yeah, that's super cool. And that's super exciting too, regarding producing other people's work too. I bet that's really fun.
Oh,
Are there any additional thoughts that you have that you would like to share?
about the song in particular,
Anything.
about
Yeah.
like the production of it. Okay. So, um, okay. I would say that this isn't my favorite song I've ever written, but I'm very
Hmm.
proud that I've written it. It isn't also my favorite song that I've ever produced, but I'm proud of how I've learned from it and how I've learned from working with another producer who was on this track. Their name is Pablo San Martin. Um, and I would say that something that I guess I could share is that music projects these days are expected to have so much perfection. I feel like this is a really imperfect work in many ways. And that I'm excited for things to get better in terms of how I develop as an artist.
Hmm.
I think we're also so used to seeing these really published and polished projects from like influencers that just jump into music, or like, artists that are working for years, but you don't see the behind the scenes.
Right.
So I guess I would say I'm very excited to see what's coming next. I'm very proud of my work, but I'm also very excited from the things that I learned, um, because that's what it's about. I'm growing to like putting out unfinished works, putting out things that are my ideas now. And I hope that as I go, I'll get a catalog that shows growth. So that's the exciting part about being an artist and starting from scratch. I'm very grateful to you guys for interviewing me and the
Of course.
support that I have at the moment, just because like it's very hard to do any of this stuff, and you do it all on your own. I mean, half the
Yeah.
reason I'm a producer is because it's expensive otherwise.
Right.
And I'm a stubborn, I don't know. So I'm happy to be here, happy to be stubborn, etc.
Yeah, but the cool thing about producing your own work and releasing it is that we get to be like a part of that growth and a part of that shift and all that, just like you were saying. So I think that's really cool and that's really
Yeah,
unique. So yeah,
yeah,
cool.
thanks.
Well, that's about all I have for you. It was great having you. Have a good one.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye.